This podcast is recorded at the Zone Gym studio.
You're listening to the Raw Reality Podcast hosted by Tori and Fit with Lily. Welcome to the end.
The end of an era.
End of an era. Or the start of an era.
Or the start of an era.
Don't worry, guys. We're not going anywhere.
We've had so many questions of people wondering what's going to happen to the podcast.
And it's also weird because we haven't recorded in a while, but also 2 episodes have gone up in the last week. There's just been a lot on. But I feel like we say that every episode. So anyway.
Well.
But I'll address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. But basically, I mean, you guys know I've posted 2 reels, I've posted stories, I've posted a YouTube video. I have moved to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Moved. You know, we're not
Holiday.
really holiday. I'm looking at it as like a training holiday.
Fly in, fly out.
Yeah, kind of how I feel. Basically, I've already been there for a week and I'm back. So that's good. But yes, so basically I've moved to Melbourne for the next 12 months to train again in acrobatics. And if you're like a listener of the last 2 years, like you would know how many times I've spoken about wanting to go back and compete and like have my time as an athlete again, just in like the body mindset that I'm in now. Like it's so different and I've been there a week and it's so different.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. But just to like catch you up to speed, yes, I have moved. Raw Reality is not going anywhere. I'm going to go into detail as to like why, how, when, what, why, very soon. But we're going to get Lil to go through her Raw Reality and then the episode's going to like base off my Raw Reality and then we've got some points to talk about.
Basically, it's really good that I'm sick this episode because I don't have to talk as much. So I'm just going to apologize for my voice to begin with. I have been sick and I'm going to get into that in a second, but I'm going to rewind a week and tell you about my tiny home. And we went away for Valentine's Day, Kate and I, and it was honestly so much fun. We went to Coffs Harbour for 2 nights. He had time off work and it was almost like a Valentine's getaway, which was so fun. Highly recommend staying in a tiny home. Now, after speaking to Kate after it, he said he will never stay in a tiny home again.
And he didn't like it?
No, but I thought he was having a great time. He's like, I had a good time, but he's like, I'm a big man in a tiny home.
Well, yeah, when you sent the photo, me and Jackson were like, that's a pretty small bed.
And there was one night where he couldn't sleep. And in the morning, I was like, why is there a pillow on the ground? He's like, I slept there for 2 hours. I'm like, on the ground? Like on the wooden floor? And he's like, yeah. I was like, can you imagine Cade curled up on the ground with a pillow because he can't sleep on the bed?
It was pretty tiny.
It was pretty tiny. It was like a double bed. And then the kitchen was right there and the toilet was right there. Personally, like in my element, like I love shit like that. It was just, I thought it was so fun. Overall though, he had a good time. It was just like the tiny home situation, maybe not so much. There was like a fire there. So we had like a campfire one night. It was pouring with rain one morning. It was in like Gold Coast.
But also wholesome.
And it was so nice. We woke up to like pouring rain and I was like, oh, this just sounds so good. We still worked into everything normal, but just like took a real step back and just like kind of was at one with nature almost. We did connection cards while we were there and Kate actually really liked them, which for a guy that's really struggled to open up previously, his biggest focus was to like open up in like another relationship, like as you always try to work on things. And I feel like he's doing so well. Like obviously I never knew what he used to be like, but now he will like say everything, and even with connection cards, he will like question what I say too, and he'll be like, oh, I don't really think that. You didn't say that last night. I'm like, oh, okay. So like he's really good at them and they're really fun. So highly recommend the Rise and Conquer connection cards. Play with your partner, get to know each other a lot deeper. But overall, not really much to comment on that besides it was a lot of fun.
Love that.
Then what else has happened in the last few days? I did get really sick. It kind of started on Tuesday and then I just like honestly went downhill from there. Tuesday was my like rest day from the gym and then Wednesday I woke up unwell and I was like, you know what, I'll just take today as a rest day. Thursday I felt even worse. I was like, well, great, now I have to take another rest day. Friday I started feeling better and I tried to train and I picked up the 60 kilo like RDL and that's like my warm up weight. Oh my God, like I literally couldn't even finish that set. I was like, you know when you just feel so fatigued?
Yeah.
Felt so heavy. So I literally did like body weight hip thrusts, some lateral raises and called it a day. I still felt like relatively fine that day. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to sleep, have a really big sleep, didn't like set an alarm for sunrise, Woke up worse this morning. I'm definitely so much better this afternoon, but this morning I was like so unwell. I'm just like, I haven't trained since Monday and will not train until Monday. So it's a week off and it's fine, but she's just spiraling a little bit. I literally said to Tori in the car, I was like, so I don't think I've grown at all. So I think there's no point in competing ever again.
Again, quitting being a girl.
Yeah. It literally feels like my luteal phase, even though I just finished it. But anyways, obviously that's not happening.
How many weeks till prep? It'd be like 9?
9. Yeah. So
like still got time.
Still got so much time. And in reality, I could not tell you the last time I took a week off because I don't really remember. Like in a few weeks, it's going to be so irrelevant.
And it's also like you're your heaviest you've ever been. You're eating so much food. Like you're not going to feel great just in general. Exactly. So like it's like, and I remember you this time last prep, it was like last bulking season. It's like you just got to push through that last little bit. And it's like
last bit.
Once you start to cut, you'll start to see it like you've got so much muscle
100%.
now.
And it's the fact that I haven't trained this week. So my blood hasn't been through my muscles. So I'm like, haven't stimulated my muscles. So they look flat. So I'm like, no shit, you don't feel as good. You literally haven't trained yet. Makes sense. As soon as I'm in the gym for 3 days, like I know I'll be fine. So anyways, there's that. If you need rest, take rest because I'm resting. So you should rest. I lost Ziggy.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to tell Tori. I was actually going to wait for the podcast to tell you, but then Jackson told her. So like obviously Tori's left, right? I'm the auntie. Jackson's shooting 24/7. So it's Ziggy and I.
It's basically between Lily and my mum at this point.
No, it actually is. And he came to the gym and the problem was here. Jackson was at the gym, then Jackson left.
Yeah.
So Ziggy was like, where did Dad go? So I'm still training. When was this?
The Friday,
that makes sense. I was like, yeah, that was literally yesterday. And he's like trying to keep going out. I keep grabbing him, putting him back inside. And then Kate says, can we shut the roller door? And I was like, yeah, no worries. So obviously when we shut it, he was already outside because he got locked out. 10 minutes go by and then I was like, where's Ziggy? Because normally he just like sits in the corner. He's a really good boy in the gym. He wasn't in the gym. And I was like, oh my fucking God, especially because in this little complex, there's kind of like a lot of cars going pretty fast down that like kind of main strip. And I'm
just going in and out of like our complex.
Yeah, and I kind of screamed. I was like, oh my God, I sprinted like through the working area outside. And then I see Kyle holding Ziggy speaking to the mechanic. And I was like, oh my God, you have Ziggy? He's like, yeah, I saw him like down the street. I thought, don't really think he should be down here. And then Hannah was training as well. She's like, yeah, I kind of saw him like just around the corner. I thought like, oh, is that Ziggy? And it was. So thanks, Kyle. You saved Ziggy's
Kyle
life.
saved the day.
So I'm just warming up. So don't stress. Auntie Lily is going to become a mum soon. She's just still in the auntie era.
Yes. I'm just glad he's alive. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I can't even tell you the way my heart dropped. Like, you know when it's your dog, you're like, fuck, where is he? When it's someone else's that you're meant to be looking after, worse. Oh my God. Anyways, Ziggy is great and he had a fun time. Just a few other things. I got scammed.
Yeah, you did.
So, Tori, again, why is this all leading back to you? It's actually all your fault for everything. Tori's obviously left, so hence the GX goes with Tori.
The GX is our camera that we use for all the good photos.
Yes.
It's currently out of stock. The price has gone up like $500. Yeah. It's out of stock for like 6 months.
6 months. There's a 6 month waiting list. And I need one ASAP. So go on Facebook Marketplace. There's one for $750. Red flag already. Why is it $750? They're like, even if it's used, you can still sell it for as much as you want. And it said, the problem here was, I showed Tori, I showed Jackson, I showed Kate her profile. So it kind of looked legit. And she'd sold one before, which is kind of a red flag, but then equally she had a few 5-star reviews. So I was like, oh, cool. She was messaging me back and forth. She's like, hey, I just need like $100 deposit before you come pick it up in Brisbane on Tuesday. And I was like, yeah, no worries. And the reason why I was like, she's legit, she was like, I'll send you the address now. I don't finish work till 1, so like 2 p.m. would be perfect. I'm like, okay. She's going back and forth, messaging me completely normally. I was transferred. She's like, thanks so much. Here's the address. I'll see you Tuesday. Slay. Jackson's in Brisbane on Tuesday. He's like, I'll pick up your camera for you. Thank you so much. Then I messaged her that morning. I'm like, hey, my housemate is coming to pick up the camera. No reply. Gets to an hour before and Jackson's on his way. And I was like, hey, Jackson's coming there. He's nearly there. Nothing. Like, this girl's not even responding, not opening. Ghosted. And it got to 5 minutes after and still nothing. I don't know if Jackson ended up getting to the house because I kind of had a feeling I'd been scammed at that point, that $100. So I was like, don't even worry going. So I don't know if he ended up getting to the house, but nothing replied and I'm blocked and I can't see her account. But the GX is still up there for sale for $750, the exact one.
So she's probably
doing like
$100.
literally. Yeah. So that's a slay.
It's like when we were getting Tate tickets for Riley.
Oh my God, literally. Yeah. And
it just everything's a scam.
Kate said you have to ask for their driver's license. I'm like, that's a good idea. Or if you pay on PayPal, you can like get a refund essentially if you get scammed.
True. Yeah.
Few more things. Work has been going so well lately. Like within the past month, I've gotten another coach on board, which is so exciting. Finally, like scaling my business. I feel like the past 3 years since I've had it, I've been in my business, and all of a sudden I was like, I really just need to take a leap and just like go for it. So the past month that's happened, and which is really exciting. Started to scale that.
Very exciting.
And then the last one was I played pickleball, and it's the funnest game ever. You should play it.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Don't know when, but
it's a mini tennis game.
Yeah.
And highly recommend. I won, Kay and I versus Christina and Cruz. We won 3 out of 3, of course.
There's like so many pickleball courts in Bali.
Really?
Everywhere. Yeah. It's so big over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Crazy.
interesting. I think that's everything from me. You're up to speed. I'm just really sick. Work's going incredible. And that's all.
That's all.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Guys, you asked and we delivered. Reboot is back and better than ever.
You guys absolutely loved our first round of this last year in 2024. We had over 600 of you sign up. It is our 6-week challenge of fitness and mindset and really focusing on elevating your lifestyle.
There are 2 different programs you can choose from, either an at-home workout utilizing dumbbells or your body weight, and then also one in the gym focusing on strength. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, these workouts are made for you.
There is also 6 weeks of mindset modules, which include videos and a workbook for you to complete over the 6 weeks of the challenge.
And we can't forget about our beautiful community. There is a platform for all of us to interact on, celebrating your wins, navigating your challenges so we can all support each other.
If this is calling your name, it is time to enroll now. We start this challenge on the 3rd of March. Everything you need to know and to enroll is in the link in the description below. So, I feel like I just need to go from the top, basically. Yeah. So, basically, a couple of weeks ago, my coach from Melbourne, who coached me for like 15 years, called me. And you guys know I've been wanting to like compete again.
Yeah.
But the opportunities never come up. I've never wanted to leave Gold Coast. I can't do it in the Gold Coast. I did audition for Cirque du Soleil, which a lot of you thought it was Cirque du Soleil. However, as much as Cirque du Soleil is like insane, it was like a massive goal of mine for like forever. It's just not the season of my life. Like,
I think it's a little unrealistic, not goal-wise, like
just the lifestyle.
Right?
Yeah, like I just don't fancy leaving the country for like months and months and months, touring, like doing 3 shows a day. I'm like, that doesn't even excite me, to be honest.
Yeah.
So then my coach calls me and she was like, hey, look, one of our girls in our like senior trio has been injured. She needs to go in for surgery. We do want to finish out the season, so we're now looking for someone to replace her. We know you feel like you've had unfinished business since you've retired. We want to give you this opportunity if you want it. And I just was like, I had no idea. I didn't even know the girl was like injured. Like I just was like, what?
Yeah.
And I just left a massage, so I was already like delulu. And I just was like, okay, I don't even know what to say. She was like, go and think about it, speak to Jackson, like do what you need to do.
The thing was, you really thought about it because you didn't tell me until the next day.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that night and then I told Jackson and then I just was like so shocked. Like I literally felt like I was in physical shock.
It was the morning of the White Fox event you told me.
Yes, yep, in the car. And I basically spent the next week thinking about it. The weekend after that, we'd already booked to go to Melbourne for my cousin's wedding. So I was like, perfect, I'll extend my trip and I'll go train and trial and see how I feel. Hoping that I would get there and either feel like, nope, I'm so happy with everything Gold Coast, which like I am, or I'm going to go, okay, this is like the right moment for me to finish this off. And so I went and trained. I trained like Thursday, Saturday, Sunday and loved it. Like I just knew I was like, I still was kind of like, there's a lot to weigh up. It wasn't like an immediate yes, but I was just like, so good to just go and train in a group that's like established. They know what they're doing.
Well, the fact as well, you go there quite a bit and train. Like realistically, like sometimes you go
or
back,
just like visit,
you go visit, and it's never been like, I want to be back here.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you're like, oh my gosh, my body said yes.
Yeah. So I come home from that trip basically pretty distraught and like distraught in like I don't know what to do because like I have an amazing business. I have just moved home thinking it's going to be home for the next couple of years. We've got a dog. Jackson and I are solid. Like so many things to weigh up. Pros and cons didn't help because it was like as many pros as there were cons.
And also Melbourne wasn't like the best memories for you either. And Melbourne for the both of us, we're almost like never moved back.
Like no. It's just not on the vision board. And
it's not on the bingo card.
I think when I left Melbourne, I was in the worst state. Like the last 2 years of me living in Melbourne wasn't great. It was great in the sense of like I did well with comps, like in the end, but where I was at physically, mentally, emotionally was not good. And so going back there, I feel those emotions before. I feel all the good memories from like the 12 years before that. So there was all of those emotions. There was obviously leaving Jackson and Ziggy. Like we had never planned on doing long distance again. And just like all the things, business, literally everything. So I spent the next week like crying every day. I literally cried myself an ocean. I was so rattled. Like I couldn't train. I couldn't think. I couldn't work. Like I just was like so rattled. Like I just wanted someone to just say, this is your answer. Yeah. I went to kinesiology and my body was like, yes, like you need to go and do this. And I found myself justifying my answer being yes because I felt guilty for leaving. So that's kind of the point that I got to. And then one of our good friends, Hannah, was like, all right, we're on the phone. And she was like, everything aside, it's like you in a dark room, you've got no opinions, no life, no nothing. You want to compete or not? I was like, yeah. She goes, well, you need to act on that because like if that's what you want, then like you have to follow that. And so then when she put it that simple, I was like, okay, so like if that's what I want to do, how do I make this work? Obviously, there was a lot of conversations to be had with mum, dad, coaches, Jackson, Leo, Amelia, like literally everyone. And I just knew at the end of the day, if I didn't take this opportunity, I would fully regret it.
Well, I said to you as well, I said, you're either going to not regret going or you're going to go and be like, that's not for me and come home. You're never going to regret doing something. Yeah. So I feel like that also really helped in your decision.
Yeah.
Also, I was fully convinced that Tori was not going,
Which is so interesting.
But
I also kind of kept quiet about it.
You did. You didn't really ask for other people's opinions.
No.
And
like I spoke to people and I would tell you how I feel, but I didn't really like...
You didn't base your answers off other people.
Yeah,
like
I just
it wasn't like
fully went inward.
This is what I'm thinking. Like, what do I do? Like, it was when you had the conversation with someone, it was very like level.
Yeah,
it wasn't out like of emotional reactivity. But I was fully convinced you weren't going because
even when we had our family dinner and we were all standing around Christina's table and Taylor was flipping the coin.
Yeah,
and it was like acro twice, and then she was like no, and everyone was kind of like no. Jackson was like no. And then I was just like, I don't fucking know. Like,
yeah. Jackson even was like, do you reckon she'll go? And I was like, no. Like, I was like, I really don't. He was like, I think she's going. I'm like, I really do not. I don't know what was in me. I think it was because a few times you've tried to go back and it hasn't worked or like it just hasn't felt right. So I'm like, at the end of the day, her decision is going to come back to no. And all of a sudden she's like, I'm going. I was like, oh. And I think that's why it hit me so hard because I fully convinced myself you weren't going.
Yeah, that would have been hard.
So then when you said I was like how many days? She's like 3. I was like, oh.
And spiral. Cue the spiral. So there was a lot of processing. And even when I went to Melbourne for the trial, I had packed my notes of like how I felt after training, before training, during training, whilst like literally I processed everything possible. And I just got to a point where I was like, all right, I have to do this for myself. Whatever the answer is going to be. Had acupuncture and then I think I had acupuncture like Monday where my body was like, it's a yes. And at that point, Jackson was like, I know you're going, but I still hadn't said yes out loud. It was kind of like, I'm going, but like, I haven't said it to anyone. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So it took me a couple of days. And even I think it was the Tuesday morning, I was like, we're on the beach and I'm just crying. And he's like, stop. You're like literally annoying yourself because you know you want to go, but you're trying to like justify it to me, you know, Ziggy, like all the things.
I think you just wanted Jackson to say to you, definitely like go,
100%.
I'll support you. I love you. This will be fine for our relationship. At the end of the day, he's also like kind of wanted you to stay, like obviously for a relationship. So I think that's what really got in your head.
Yeah. So from a relationship perspective, he didn't want me to go, like full transparency. He didn't see what I went through because we weren't together or talking, but he saw the very end of it before I kind of had my transformation, I guess. So he saw me down in the dumps and he was like, I just don't understand why you want to go back to that, because that's kind of all he knew at that time. And also like the training load and obviously long distance. He was like, we have a dog, we have an expensive lease, like all the things. And so for me, when he moved to the Gold Coast, that was fully his decision. He kept everyone out of his decision and made that for him. Whereas I was like, I need your support. Like I cannot go until I have your support, because I just won't be able to do this without you. I was like, I don't care what anyone says. My mum is against it. If you say no, if you say yes, I need to know. Like even if it hurts me, I don't care. And by the end of it, he was like, you know, we will be fine. And we both like, we've set boundaries and just like made promises that we always say good morning, always say good night, like just long distance things, which I'll get into later. But in the end, he was like, if this is what's going to make you happy, you need to do it. Because like, I don't want to not do it for him, then I resent him, and like just the little things like that. So ended up deciding Wednesday that my answer was yes. And I went back and forth with my coaches, just kind of putting everything on the table and also just laying the foundations of like, I've come to the best position ever, physically, mentally, emotionally. That's my first priority, first and always. And I needed them to know that. And just like, we've just been really open and honest with each other. So I made the decision, yes, Wednesday. And I just was like, all right, we're doing it. And basically Jackson was like, well, let's just drive Sunday because you need your car. And I didn't want to ship it, didn't have time, whatever. And so made the decision Wednesday, left Sunday. And it was just like...
so fast.
I
think the more time you had, the worse it would have gotten.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you were like, I'm going, bye.
Yeah.
Or else it would have not worked.
And I had to book this flight to come back today as we're recording, just for my sake of being like, okay, I'll see you in a week. Yeah. Just like I had to have that. And also we have a massive weekend. But I literally drove to Sydney Sunday, like after lunch, flew into Sydney, saw Erin, stayed the night, left Sydney at 4:30 a.m, drove to Melbourne, 8.5 hours, dropped Jackson at the airport, went straight to training for my first session.
I have no idea. We did 3 hours to Coffs Harbour and I was like nearly crying how much I hated it. Cade was like, I don't think I can drive any longer. He's like, he went through 2 full packets of lollies, 2 energy drinks and a whole packet of Red Rock Daily Chips because he's like, I'm so bored. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I've no idea, hated it.
Yeah. And then, dropped him at the airport, went straight to a 4-hour training session. Thank God, though, because I would have spiraled for sure. Yeah. I didn't have time to think. I had to go throw someone. So
yeah.
It was
because you would have dropped Jackson off and that would have been, did you cry?
No. Oh, after I voice memoed you in the car, I dropped him. I was fine. 10 minutes down the road, I was like, tear.
Yeah. Wow, you did really
but
well.
But I wasn't like, I think I literally cried every tear possible out of my body.
Did you cry when you said goodbye to Ziggy?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I thought you were about to say that you only cried saying
goodbye
to me.
No, I cried the whole...
and I was like,
after I said goodbye to you, I just kind of cried like the
whole
kind of morning. So went to Melbourne, had my first week there. It's been kind of chaotic just getting used to training. Basically, my training schedule is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So 5 days a week, 4-hour sessions. That's kind of all my training has been because I knew I would be so sore.
Also, I feel like right now you actually don't need anything else. Like,
no.
Yes, you will eventually just to like strengthen those actual muscles to help you. But if you overload your body too early, like technically you're doing double the amount you normally would, triple even.
Yeah. And we do conditioning and strength in like I'm doing in our warm-ups, we had deadlifts and cleans and like shoulders overhead. Yeah.
Really?
Like our bases warm up. We've got barbells and like chin-ups. Yeah, toes to bar, like everything.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
You guys know how busy Tori and I have been lately, and Papa Macros have been a time saver. They are a meal prep company that delivers ready-to-go meals straight to your door.
One thing that we love most is their clean ingredients, not using any seed oils or preservatives, which can be common amongst ready-to-go meals. The macros are incredible and they have over 70 meals on the menu with different categories to fit your current goals.
Lucky for you, we have partnered with Papa Macros, so if you're struggling with meal prep, poor on time, or just wanting to switch it up, they are the perfect addition to your weekly plan. Just use code RAWREALITY for a discount on your next order. And you'll never get tired of eating the same meals as they update their menu every month, so the variety is never ending. We hope you enjoy.
So, like, I'm still doing a lot. I think I go back for 2 weeks before I come home for 10 days because we're going away, which then, like, when we're away, I'll be gymming and, like, still working on other things, but that'll be a really good break. But my body this week I've never felt so sore in my life, just in every calf, knee, behind my knee, ligaments, groins, muscle, like literally everything. But it's just like, oh, yep, I'm sore. Keep going. Like once I actually warm up and get to the gym, felt so much better. The second training finished, instant pain. Like I was crawling out of the car. Mel was getting me heat packs. I'm just laying in bed, like can't move.
How fun is that feeling though? Like when you know that, like, okay, I'm actually back.
Yeah, I'm back. So yeah, 5 days of training, and today I feel a little bit better. Still like back's quite tight, like right calf, just like all different things. So, but in that first week, just obsessed.
Yeah.
It's so, I always knew, like, even talking about it in the last couple of years, like I knew it would feel different, but it feels so different. Like I have the most different like perspective on training, being an athlete. Like, I don't know. It's so weird.
I think it's also gone from coaching at your old place for how long were you there for?
2.5 years,
Yeah, for 2.5 years. So you know like why basics are important, why pointing your feet is important, why this is important.
So going from like a flyer to a base is like huge because you kind of, as a base, have been a flyer, you know what you want your flyer to do and you know what to look for. But then going from coach back to athlete, so insane. Yeah. Because you're like, I know why you're yelling at the kids. I know why you're doing this. I know why you're like, and I'm just like, like this needs to be done. And it's so weird being on the other end of it again. And I'm
also
like,
knowing like why warm-up's effective. Not just getting straight into it, and then why actually doing the warm-up properly. Because the difference between doing an overhead, chuck it down and go again, it's like don't actually properly do it and it's going to help you so much more. I think that has been a big thing.
And even with the girls that I'm with, I'm like, we are never to not do the basics because like we need them more than anything. So it's just like, it's really, really cool to like go back and like just have a different perspective. And I've loved every second. And I also have... It's so like freeing because I'm not thinking about anything else. Like I feel like I really got into a business mindset of like this. Whereas when I'm training, I'm like, I'm like, even when I'm at the gym, I'm like messaging you being like, we need to do this. Yeah. Where I'm at training, I'm just focusing on throwing and catching.
Well, you don't have your phone on you. Yeah. I think that really helps. And Kate's actually found that recently. He said to me, it's like with BJJ, he's like, I can't think about anything else but that. And the gym
if I think about anything else, I'm going to get choked out.
He's like, I'm going to be dead. I think that's what I struggle with at the gym is because also like Kate always fucking asks me questions about the podcast while I'm training or like then, Millie's walked in, speak to her. Sky's walked in, speak to her. So it's like if you're at BJJ, if you're at acro, you are in that like zone and it's such a good feeling. It's like you're switch off almost.
Completely. And we don't have a lot of time. Like this cycle is 1 year. So usually an acro cycle is 2 years. Hence why this opportunity is so good because it's just 1 year. And we get to do like the whole season in 1 year basically. So to answer a couple of questions now, in terms of competitions, it's basically we have our first comp in 5 weeks. Yeah. So hence why we have to move fast. But
do you have your leotard?
No, not yet.
I can just imagine you wearing like, I don't know why. I'm just like, what color is it? Do you know?
No, I actually don't know. We're using like the old leotards for this first comp and then we're going to get new ones.
That's so fun.
I know. So yeah, our first comp's in 5 weeks, which is basically trialing for the Oz team. Yeah. And then our first international comp will be in June, hopefully. Well, it will be. It is. In Germany and Poland. So like, no, I'm not just going and just like doing some general comps. Like I'm going to do the best that I can do. And yeah, it's very much like moving fast, but equally like we have to, but also we have to take it slow to like make sure things are right.
I think the biggest question that also confused me but makes sense now is the difference between World Cup and Worlds, because you say, I want to finish Worlds strong, but then looks like you placed second at Worlds, but that was World Cup, not Worlds.
So to explain, in acro, like I said, the season goes for 2 years. Because World Championships is every 2 years. So World Championships is like the biggest comp of the season.
Olympics. If you want to give
basically. Yeah. Until we're in the Olympics. So yeah, basically the Worlds is like our Olympics. And every single year there's like 3 to 4 World Cups. So World Cups, you obviously still have to qualify, but they're more frequent, less countries. You kind of pick and choose which ones you want to go to, whereas like everyone's trying to make Worlds. So hopefully we make the team and we can do the World Cup in June. Basically to get experience, obviously get your name out there and hopefully do well. And then it's just like getting you ready for Worlds, and then you come home, you trial again, and then we'll have Worlds at the start of next year, hopefully. But yeah, Worlds is like the big dog one.
Yeah.
And the last Worlds I did was Junior Worlds. So now I'm in Senior Worlds.
Oh.
Yeah. So
okay.
World Cup is only senior. And then, for Worlds, you've got so it's like split into like 2 comps. So you have your juniors and then you have seniors. And there's like 3 days in between.
And your juniors, when you went, how did you go?
We did well. That was like obviously my first ever Worlds. We made finals, which was like our goal. We fell in our first routine, but picked back up, did really well in our second, which helped us make finals. And then our finals routine wasn't its best, but we came 8th. So
and that's why you want to go back, because you want a podium/win.
I would like to podium,
yeah. Cool.
And I'm not letting anyone tell me otherwise, and I'm going for gold.
Who would be your biggest competitors? Why does
idea.
Russia give me
Russia's insane.
a vibe, yeah.
There has been a lot with, like, Israel are amazing, China's really amazing, but because of, like, the Israel war and things like that that's been going on in the world, I don't know, like, some countries can't compete
How
at the
about
moment.
USA?
USA are good.
Yeah.
I would say, well, like, at the World Cup, we beat USA when I went. So, like, you honestly don't know. You just have to, like, do absolutely everything you can. You know, you're trying to play safe and be smart, but equally do big skills and be clean. So, we're going for above and beyond.
Yeah.
So very exciting. It's going to be a massive year, obviously mixing all of that with also business and work. There's also like a few opportunities that's come up in Melbourne as well that we're going to add into the mix.
Keep forgetting about that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. But what other notes? I had like a few questions since everything's kind of happened, just on like navigating this whole season. Something was like how to make the most of something when you know it's not long term or where you want to end up. So going back to the whole like living in Melbourne thing. Yep. Obviously, Lil and I have said, like, we don't see ourselves living back in Melbourne. Gold Coast is home, and I feel like I've moved around so much, and I'm like, Gold Coast is where I belong. And I know you feel the same, Jax feels the same, which is so nice to have. And whilst Melbourne is not my forever home, Melbourne's not where I want to be now or at all, I know that I'm there to train. And I'm kind of just using this season to not do sunrise walks, not have to get up at 4 a.m., not that I have to, but I want to when I'm here, and just embrace the slower season whilst doing something that I really want to do.
I think it's what we used to say, the word surrender.
Yeah.
So it's surrendering to not getting up at 4:30 just because everyone else in Gold Coast is. You don't have to do that. Like, you're not getting to sleep till 11. You messaged me at 10:30 last night. I'm like, isn't it 11:30
I've
where
been
you're
going
sleeping?
to sleep at like 11:30.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of just like surrendering to your normal routine to allow for like other things to take place. Also, morning walk, you're not on the beach. You took a photo of like a flower the other day and you're like appreciating the small things.
Yep.
It's actually flip your perspective and you don't have to go into a negative mindset.
Literally. And that's why I'm like, okay, why am I in Melbourne? To do acro, and what's my goal with that? What's going to help me achieve that goal? I need more sleep. That means I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. I finish training at 8. I'm not eating dinner till 9. I'm not in bed till like 10. And then I'm scrolling on my phone because I've been on my phone for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And that's just like where it is. Obviously, it's been a week, so I'm still trying to find routine. Don't have my own bed yet. Like sleeping in basically my little sister's bed in Melbourne. So like there's just like a lot that plays into it. But I'm just like, my goal is acro. And that's the reason I'm in Melbourne. So it's just like, that's cool. I just need to allow that to be. When I come to the Gold Coast, I do my sunrise walks. I enjoy the beach. But for now, in the next 12 months, that's what the goals are. This one I loved. It was like how to like navigate head down, ass up season, but equally have rest and balance. Because I have that mixture of like, I'm head down, ass up with now trying to train for Worlds, also trying to run a business and a podcast interstate and a personal brand, but equally knowing that I need to rest for my body, for training and all that sort of stuff. So again, it's just like you have to prioritize what you need. So for me, it's not going out every weekend and like trying to make friends or go to events or go, like I'm literally pretty much on my laptop from like 9 till 3. I train 4 till 8 and then I'm sleeping and eating.
Yeah.
Like I'm not prioritizing. If I'm coming out and socializing, it's when I'm back on the Gold Coast because I just need to get my work done. I just need to train. And if I can catch up with friends here and there, cool, but it's not the reason that I'm there kind of thing.
Yeah. There was another question where it was like, was it how are you going to make friends in Melbourne?
Yeah.
And I was like, Tori, like, you're not. Like, that's not your goal.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely want to do like community walks. Like I'm going to try and do as many as I can whilst I'm there because like we love our Melbourne community. and I want to nurture that and like I want to make the most of that. And that's another thing too. It's like, okay, I don't want to be in Melbourne, but I'm here to train, but how can I make the most of this opportunity? Okay, cool. Let's nurture our podcast community. Let's do events there. Like whilst I'm there and it's easy for me to like just do it, why not do that?
Yeah.
So Melbourne listeners, just know that there'll be lots of community walks. But yeah, I'm not in Melbourne to like live and set a life. Like I'm just there to train. Like that's how I'm kind of looking at it. So it's just, again, just like embracing that.
It's kind of like in a way when I went to Houston, Texas to just train, it was for 5 weeks, but I went to Alpha Land. God damn, those were the best not 5 weeks, 5 days. I was like, sorry. Yeah. Those are the best 5 days. Like my training was so good. I was at the gym for hours. Around that, we were literally just working at home. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I just don't feel like I do that here.
Yeah.
And I don't know
you have so much other stuff on.
That's
like,
what it is.
You've, like you said, you got business and like
there's
just
friendships,
so much there.
there's doing everything. Like we were sleeping until 7. I'd walk, get a coffee, get ready, go straight to gym, home, work, and then repeat. Yeah. So I feel like that's almost what you're doing there, and that's so
why
good.
I feel like it's a working training holiday because I'm like I don't have the distractions at all. I'm actually being really productive, getting my work done, and then I go to the gym, and that's it. Yeah. Like so, it kind of is nice. And again, my next point is like just embracing every moment that, and just like this is what it is. I've chosen this. I have to make the most of it.
Yeah.
That's my next thing with like more so like training is like this is my last year. Like I'm going to finish Worlds and I'm going to close that chapter, which is like, like crazy. And hopefully we finish at Worlds and, you know, it may not go, I'm not like setting the standard of like has to finish this way. I just would love to have a beautiful, fun, like fulfilling last year.
Yeah.
So I'm literally just like embracing every single moment. Like I just want to help whoever I can. I want to be the best I can. I want to motivate everyone in the gym, but equally keep inspiration for myself and like just enjoy this next 12 months because like this will be the last time until like probably my kid does it or something.
That's
like,
crazy,
do you know what I mean? So it's just like fully embracing that. Something that my mum called me today, which is like she shared some like really sad news, not about like me or family or anyone, but like someone she knows just received really bad news. And basically, I'm not going to go into it, but like just got told like they had 6 to 12 months to live. And I was just like, life can literally be taken away like that.
Yeah.
Life is too short to not do what you want to do. And I think, you know, in the moment of me deciding to move to Melbourne, it felt like the heaviest decision and like so much to process. But I was like, 12 months in the scheme of the next 30 years is nothing. Yeah. And we're going to sit here this time next year and I would have finished Worlds and I'm going to be back here and I'm just going to be like,
everything's
I'm
normal
back
again.
home. Yeah.
It's exactly like when you move away and you come back, you're like, everyone's going to change. Everyone's everyone's going to forget about me. You go back and everything's still the exact same. And it's like, literally doesn't feel like 2 minutes has even passed. So you know at the end of the day, if you guys are deciding on a huge decision in your life, deep down you know the answer. You're just too scared to either accept it or to disappoint someone else.
And that was my thing. I knew my answer the whole time. Yep. I was just too scared to say it because of, you know, maybe the affect us, the friendship, the business, the relationship, like everything. But I was like,
you went through every possible outcome. You're like, am I doing it for my ego? Am I doing it for social media? Am I doing it for business? Am I doing it for this? I'm like,
no, I asked every question, which I'm like so proud of because I was like, yeah, like I'm good at acro. Is it an ego thing? Like there was so many things and I was like, I'm just so happy there. Like I'm halfway through training. I'm like, so what are we doing next? Like I'm just like so happy to be there. And that's when I was like, okay, this is great. And that's just like another thing. Like if you're wanting to move states, your home will always be there. Like if you want to go to America for 6 months, Australia will always be here or vice versa. Like whatever it is, home will always be there. We've got the incredible little phones that we can carry with us, that we can FaceTime, talk whenever we want. Like the other day I was like, I'm calling you, like, and we just spoke. Like it's like, yes, it's hard, but it also gets to be easy because of everything we have access to. Yeah. And that's my last point is like, sometimes we just have to sacrifice. Yeah. And I've built the most incredible life and people are still probably like, why would you leave everything you've built? I'm like, I'm not leaving. I've built this life so I can take this opportunity. And you reminded me of that, whereas like your life, because when I got to Melbourne, I think I was like spiraling and I was like, people are like having kids and getting married and like people from like who I used to train with, I don't know why I was giving a fuck about what they think. And I was like, they've had kids and like getting married and buying houses. And Lily's like, you've literally built the best life. Your relationship is so solid. Our business is so solid that I can take this opportunity. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like no one not many people actually be able to leave a loving relationship like that because they don't have that much trust or their partner isn't that supportive and keep the same job and like that's such an
back every second
literally
week.
It's such an incredible position to be in. So it's like take it while you can.
Yeah. And then I just think I'm like, even now, like being around my coach who has 4 kids and like I've been staying with them, I'm like, I don't get this freedom forever.
Nah.
Like once Jackson and I have kids, see you fucking later. Like our effort and life, like yes, we have our own thing, but like everything's going to go into your kids.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I just needed to fully take this opportunity while I was here, enjoy it. And this potentially is like both Jackson and I's kind of last year of just like, you know, embracing everything. And then we get to just like move forward and focus on us and our life together.
And at the end of the day, every single goal or everything you want to do in life, there's a sacrifice you have to make.
Yeah.
If that goal is really what you want to do, always has to be a sacrifice. Like if you've made an Olympic team, you're sacrificing literally your whole entire social life, some of your career, probably some money as well. Same as like bodybuilding, I sacrificed so much to do it. Like I just feel like every incredible thing in life, there's a sacrifice.
That comes with sacrifice, and you have to be okay with that. And another reason of like why I literally thought of everything, like I caught up with Brie Masters, who like gratefully is one of my friends. I was like, so give me everything you know, because I know she navigated long distance while both her and her husband were training. Were training for track, and she was like, you know, we just came out on the other side stronger, and they did 2.5 years. I was like, yeah, that's not happening. But like it is possible, and if you're willing to make it work for whatever reason, it's gonna work.
And also, Jackson's back in Melbourne every 2 weeks.
Yes, hopefully. That was a big pro for me that he's there and he can stay like 1 or 2 nights after footy.
For footy,
Thank fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, I've just got a few questions on my Instagram just to like really clear everything up so you guys know what's going on. Have you got your own apartment yet? No, I don't.
Where are you living, Tori?
At my coach's house. But by the way, my coach is like my second mum.
Yeah,
like I've known her. This is my 17th year of, obviously I had a massive break, but like 17th year of acro.
Yeah.
So I've known her for nearly 20 years, which is freaking wild. So I'm just staying with them at the moment, see what happens, but just making do, you know?
Yeah.
How do you fit your schedule accommodating things? Sorry, they wrote this in one. Accommodate new things or tips on how to easily get back on track. Doesn't really make sense to me. I'm just going to skip to the next one. How are you managing the extra training load while reducing your stress on your body? Yeah, this is a tricky one, and I am slightly concerned about my period. My acupuncturist is literally the best person on this planet. She is like, I will do whatever it takes to make sure I see you every time you're back on the Gold Coast. Bless her soul. I'm literally seeing her Monday morning before I fly out because one, she helps with my sore muscles and recovery, but also my hormones, and I will still be seeing my naturopath. I am really, really happy with like food, and I've like this week my hunger started to like increase because obviously I'm doing so much more training. So I'm just listening to that, increasing my volume of food, still being super healthy, obviously. But training load this week, I've fully just focused on acro, no gym at all.
Do you think your body might respond well because it's enjoyment, but it's not like punishing training, if that makes sense? Like you're not deadlifting, like yes, you're throwing someone in the air, but it's a lot more like controlled movements. You're not running 3Ks and you're not like, I know like full outs obviously so hard. I don't know why. I'm just like, why do I feel like it's kind of different?
I feel like it's different because I'm in a different position.
Yeah.
And I also know if I need to take a break, I can take a break.
Yeah.
And I'm not there to just like absolutely thrash myself because it's not going to get anyone anywhere. I am just like monitoring it. I think I mentioned here on my YouTube, like I've started with a PT. I will probably do, I don't even know, maybe like 2 to 3 gym sessions a week. That just, I said to my PT George, I was like, we're not focusing on aesthetics. We're focusing on getting through this year as fit and healthy as possible with no injuries. That's my biggest priority. I'm not here to grow a bunda, as sad as that is. That's for later in life. But I just want to focus on like having my body right and obviously my stress and everything. So like recovery is super important, sleep. So I'm just going to see how I go. I am just overdue for my period, which is like normal for me. But I'm just hoping at least that kind of not stays regular because it's not really regular, but like I can stay on top of that and at least get a few. But that'll be my biggest priority is like trying to keep my period. Are you scared to lose your period training intensely? You just answered that. Do you get the feeling of loneliness and how to navigate this? No, because I'm living in a full house, and also like the gym is always busy.
I was going to say,
training.
you're not training by yourself. Like you're literally in a full on like thing.
There's like 100 people in the gym at once. And again, I know why I'm there.
Yeah.
Like if I'm feeling lonely, I can pick up the phone and call, or I have friends in Melbourne to reach out to, or you know, I can post on Raw Reality community and be like, hey, I need some friends. Like our community is so amazing, and I know that like if I feel that way, I know what to do, and it's just acting on that and not just letting yourself be like, I'm lonely. I'm like, no, I'm just having alone time, or I just need to rest, or like I need to go and actively catch up with someone. I just like, you got to know yourself and know how to go around these situations. What have you found the most challenging stepping back into the sport? That's a really good question. I actually have been like, what's the word? Like nervous for skills.
Really?
Like taking skills out of the belt. So for those of you that don't know, and you've maybe seen it before, when we throw like these massive skills, you train them in a belt, like your flyers in a belt. So it's like really safe.
Like
and
I'm going to say a
like a harness, like a bungee. Yes. Yeah. So your coach is like pulling on the harness so that if they fall, they're safe basically. But taking them out, it was like for the first one, I was just like, ooh, but like I know exactly what I'm doing.
Do you think it's having that when you're younger, you have no fear?
Yeah.
And now you're older, you're like, oh, like.
And also just like, I don't want anyone to get injured.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I want it to be perfect and like, not perfect, but like safe.
Yeah.
So that's just like, we only have 12 months. I'm like, we all need to play it safe.
Yeah.
But equally be big kind of thing. So I'd say that's been a big challenge. And then just like my body.
Yeah.
Is really sore. But we knew that was going to happen. What do you hope to accomplish with this move and competing again? Just enjoying every single moment, making the most of the situation, and hopefully doing well at all of our international, just all comps.
I think like literally since the day I met you, at least every fortnight, if not every week, like you mentioned acro, wanting to compete some sort. So it's like end of the day, it's even just like closing that chapter.
Yeah,
is like what this is.
And I think like I just can't wait to like you guys can all come watch a comp and just like
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just really excited about it. What have we got? What are your goals for this season of life and this new chapter? Again, just embracing fucking getting a gold medal.
Do you get paid for this sport?
No, you don't. You get prize money if you win like an international comp, but even then it's not even. It's not a footy AFL paycheck, I don't tell you that much. No, it is a fully self-funded sport. So obviously like me having to move, like I'm still paying rent on the Gold Coast. Like there, again, I thought of everything. There's a lot of logistics that went into this. And obviously had to be in a financial position to do so. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm not saving to do our America trip this year. I'm saving so I can get overseas and buy new leotards and buy an Australian tracksuit. And like, yes, we don't even get our Australian tracksuit paid for. My mum could never believe that. Like we got like when I made my first Australian team, she was like, we have to pay for the tracksuit. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. We do a lot of fundraisers. You can do GoFundMes. I'm really hoping to like do some really cool sponsors for like our trio. It is a lot. It's a very, very expensive sport. And we were saying this in the car, like a lot of sports are self-funded.
Most, like the only thing is like AFL.
Like rugby.
I'm talking Australia. Like I have some really good basketball, like friends who play basketball, and it's like, it doesn't like, they may get paid, but it's not even like they have to have a full-time job. It's like a side hobby.
Yeah.
The only time where you may have benefits is in like America.
Yeah. I was talking to Brie, like a lot of athletics is self-funded.
Yeah,
sometimes if you're really, really good, they'll cover certain things.
It's a lot of payments you get from sponsors. Like Puma or Nike will pay you, not actually the sport itself, which is crazy.
Wild.
Because especially as you grow up, your whole childhood, most people, it's dedicated to a sport, whether that's swimming, athletics, footy, gymnastics, diving, like it's dedicated entirely, and that's like your whole personality. And then all of a sudden it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why weren't we business driven from 4 years old instead? Because then maybe we, like, And
that was another like spiral I had of like, but like, where is this going to get me? What it's going to do? I'm like, wait, but it just makes me happy. Yeah, and that's actually okay if you want to go and compete for 12 months because it makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it does. Yeah. That's good. How you're managing Raw Reality and acro, like I said, I'm spending the days working. So I'm working from, I'm sleeping until like 7. I go for my morning walk, and then I basically work from like 9 till 3.
Yeah.
And that's where we're getting everything done. At the moment, I am flying back like every 2 weeks at this point. So we're just batch recording like a few episodes once when I'm here. And we just navigate as we go. Yeah. Like we just see how the year plans out. I feel like
a few people have asked me that. I'm like, don't ask me, because Tori and I never pre-plan.
We do pretty well.
It's in the moment. Like I think the most at the moment will be like per month. We will kind of plan out. So we've planned out the whole of March. We're fine. Then we'll wait till the end of March to figure out April.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you just have to, because things are going to come up on my end. Things are going to come up on your end. Like our lives evolve so quickly at this point in time. So there's literally no point planning it and being like, okay, in May 17th, we're going to do an interstate recording. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like it's just whatever comes up, what comes up. You get a cool guest in Melbourne, I'll fly there. Like,
we will always prioritize getting an episode up a week. Like that's obviously the main priority. And then everything else we're working on, which one thing is so big and I'm so excited.
Oh, yes, same. I actually told someone the other day and they were like, wait, what? And then I think when they got so excited, I was like, oh yeah, it's actually kind of like pretty big.
It is pretty big. I'm so excited.
I kind of forget how big it is.
It's going to be so fun.
I don't know when the announcement will happen.
I know.
I don't know. Not for ages, so sorry.
Yeah, sorry guys. Just know it's big and you're going to love it. Hardest parts about moving states and navigating long distance. I would just say like not having the small things. And I mentioned this in my vlog. It's like not being able to just like walk into your bedroom or like go to sleep with Jackson. Like I hate sleeping alone and especially without Ziggy. I would say like it's literally the little things. And that's why it's like when you're going through life, appreciate the little things because sometimes like they can be taken away and you just like I just want to get into bed with Jackson at night.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get into bed tonight.
Yeah.
So it's just like those little things that I miss the most. But otherwise, like, we're all so freaking busy at the moment. Yeah. It's like, oh, a week's gone already. Like,
literally,
that's how fast it's going to go. So I would say that. I think that's pretty much all.
Yeah, like someone has a good inside scoop now.
Yeah, a couple of people just said, what level are you doing? Senior. If you know acro, we're doing senior, which is the top level.
Big dog.
Big dog. Yeah.
So you know what's going to suck is your delts are going to grow again. And they're going to be bigger than mine.
They're going to be massive because I just do this and throw all the time.
Oh, maybe
but I'm not going to have a glute. I'm going to have a flat ass pancake.
Back in my checking this week, she was like, you literally look at a weight and your glutes grow.
Oh.
But she was like, can you do that with your delts?
I'm the same.
Trying. Can we swap? Put our bodies together.
It'd be great.
Optimal.
And I'm just going to have massive quads because they're so fucking sore and it's not what I want.
Emma and I always speak about this because she has incredible delts and like my glutes are pretty good. So if we put our bodies together, we'd go pro.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the full inside scoop. There's a lot happening, but equally just like so excited for this season. Yeah. If you want to follow like the acro journey, you can follow tsh.trio. Yeah. tsh.trio on Instagram. That's where we're documenting it, and obviously through the pod and YouTube as well.
Jackson and I, just us.
Yeah.
Just Jackson, Ziggy and I.
Yeah.
The other day, Jackson took Ziggy and I was like, sick. I was literally home all day.
And because like I was just like always home.
Or like we were always home. Yeah. Like we work from home. We do everything together. It's fucking so weird.
I know.
And there was the other day, when was it? It was Saturday. Jackson had the big camp and you guys left on Sunday.
Yeah.
His fucking footy stuff was still on the ground, stunk. And I was like, oh, I just know Tori's left. So I was like, I'm going to wash it, obviously, because he's not home till Monday night. And then I put it on his bed folded and everything. He's like, do you mind washing? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, thanks, Mum.
Well, I walked into the laundry before. Our laundry basket in the bathroom is full. And then all his clothes are on the floor in the laundry. And I was like, he did tell me he wasn't going to do any washing while I was gone. So I was like, okay.
It's even just like the vacuuming. I'm like, Tori used to vacuum all the time.
Yeah,
I'm like,
the house needs a vacuum. I'll tell you that much.
I got to do that.
No, you guys keep it tidy.
Yes.
Not clean.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I've always said this. I'm a tight, or no.
You're tidy everywhere but your room.
Yes. Agreed.
You let your room get dirty because no one else goes in there.
Yes, correct.
Well, not dirty, but like messy.
Yeah. Like I will put away dishes. I'll wipe down the benches. Yeah. But you will not see me rubbing the inside of fucking I don't know what, like Tori does.
The floor's a bit dirty. That's okay.
Okay.
I like vacuuming, so that's fine.
But
that's the updates. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yep. So, bottom line, Tori's gone.
Massive reverse. It wasn't on my bingo card for 2025. Like,
it wasn't on mine.
The fact that I was like, yep, Wednesday, gone Sunday, and now I live in Melbourne.
I didn't think I was going to be sad, and I was, but it was only for one day.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Millie came into the gym, and she was like, so Tori's left, and I started crying. She's like, okay,
let's not talk about it.
I'm not that sad. I was like, I just haven't really cried yet, but I'm fine, I promise.
I've just been too sore to think about anything. It's like the hardest is like when I like FaceTime Jackson and I see Ziggy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, I just won't call you. But then I'm like, well, that's not going to work. I need to speak to you. But the weeks do go past really fast, and yeah, the year's going to fly. So I just going to enjoy it.
Yeah. So go chase after your goals, everyone.
Yeah. Chase your bloody dreams because life's too short not to.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We're, of course, going to be in your ears next week. Don't you worry. And Reboot's in 1 week.
It is.
So get on board, get in. Very excited to start.
Yeah. It's going to be epic.
Yep. And that's about it.
Love you guys so much and speak to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.